confirm it, though. That doesn't help. Okay. Go. Morning, Bat Dad. Or good afternoon. Hello, hello. Get ourselves started today. Okay. Why do I keep doing that when I write that? Okay, well, that's just... Hi! Hello! Alright, let's get started with some music, shall we? We shall. Hopefully it's not too loud. No, we're okay. Lamb! It's Taco Tuesday. Thought it was TLC. No, it's really, really old school pink. So guys, make sure we are tapping that screen as we come in, do all of the good things. Hello, Squish Raiders. Hello, hello. Thank you. It's Titties Out Tuesday. So guys, make sure we're doing all of the good things as we come in. I'll do my big, announcement, but make sure we're doing the good things. Welcome in on this Tuesday, guys. There you go. Good morning, good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. I appreciate you guys being here today. Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody's doing well. So we are going to start off the day by saying hello over on TikTok. Guys, welcome in. If you could tap that screen, please, I would appreciate it. You know, we like to hit 50,000 likes before we hit the top of the hour. I've seen you guys do better literally almost every day now. You guys are working those finger muscles, and I promise your partners will thank you. So thank you so much for doing that. You can share the live out. You can repost it, add it to your story, share it to 5 of your friends. It really does help push us onto the algorithm. Just do not spam the copy link button. That's not good for us. Do your daily heart me if you have not done so. I would appreciate it. If you're not following me, why aren't you following me? And once you follow me, you'll see a little golden heart appear. Hit that golden heart, do your daily heart me. It gives you access to stickers of my face in the chat over here. So that's lovely. We would love to see that. I have the little roses goal. You know that we do our little goals, gift goals over here on TikTok. Yes, it does help me out, but also it is a way to help push us onto the algorithm and show engagement for TikTok. So we have to make sure we are doing that. If you are watching over there on YouTube, guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up button for me for the day. I would appreciate it. It helps push us onto the algorithm that maybe we can get brave enough people to call in and have a conversation based off of factually based evidence and not their feelings. Over there on Twitch, Dragon's Celt, I see you, and it looks like there's one more viewer, but hello over there, wonderful people. Remember that you can subscribe over there on Twitch. You can send bits. You have access to stickers once you subscribe, and YouTube as well, not just the thumbs up, but you can become a member over there as well. You can send super chats when the chat goes too fast for me to be able to read. All of it does help. Now, usually I have a goal, because again, this is my job, this is what I do for a living, and I always welcome any extra donations, but we have to have huge W's, because I literally woke up and checked my phone and saw that Block Daddy had completely wiped out my goal for the day. So huge W's to Block Daddy for knocking the fuck out of my goal today. I appreciate it so very much. Truly thank you for the support that you give me. I appreciate it. Again, we'll always take extra donations. We'll always take any of the gifts you guys give me. I appreciate it. It does truly help. Again, this is my job. It's what I do for a living. Tip your content creators, but huge W's to Block Daddy. Thank you. Okay. Get our day going. Hello.
At the end, you need to play the mixes that Dragon's Cult made me.
I heard yours this morning. I was checking it when I was on the on your panel, but on the computer. Like wild. Yes, and Titties Out Tuesday. It is Titties Out Tuesday, so the girls are out.
You guys didn't really get to see. I had a nice little.
I saw, but I be looking.
Well, I'm always duh.
Yeah, duh. I guess I'll turn the phone lines on. Somebody's already trying to call. Barely started. Okay. We're gonna start though. We're going to get into some election stuff. So guys, what I really want to make sure on TikTok particularly is that we are tapping that screen, because unfortunately we're going to hear a lot of people tell a lot of lies. So make sure we are showing engagement with gifts and tapping so that TikTok doesn't freak out about the stuff we are going to play today, because it's important to cover. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
I'm 18. I didn't vote for Trump, but I support Trump. And yeah.
Why do you support Trump?
Just because I'm pretty anti-abortion, and so is he, and that kind of
No,
stuff.
he's not.
Upholds my...
Did we just speak on Olive's panel?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
We just spoke on Olive's panel. Yeah.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. What?
That was you?
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, you have two or something, or?
No, Olive is my work wife. I tend to stay on her panels in the morning, and then she comes on my panels here in the afternoon when I'm live.
You just can't hear me, bitch!
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So again, where are you getting your moral opinion about abortion? Where's that coming from?
First of all, did you guys just get, like, scared and, like, ran because you know you're losing the debate?
No, we just don't like talking to men about abortion who have a lot of feelings about abortion. I have
no
problem with you
my gender?
I have no problem with you. What are your pronouns?
Well, you called me a man, so you assumed my gender.
I did, you're right. Was I incorrect? What are your pronouns?
They, them.
Okay, well, I apologize that you are not a man, you are non-binary and they, them, so I apologize for that. Now, What you can do is you can find somebody who is pro-life and have a child with them. You can absolutely do that. I have no problem with that. What I do not allow you to do is talk about legislating other people's bodies. So
I should just sit back and let murder happen throughout our country
again, how is it murder?
because it's the unjustified taking of a human life.
What is unjustified about it?
Because it did something wrong, and we're either tearing it apart or just poisoning it with pills.
What is unjust about it?
Because it did nothing wrong and we're killing it. That's what's
It
unjust.
didn't do anything right either. It is amoral
Exactly.
in this action. So then it's not unjust. Unjust implies innocence and guilt. It's amoral. I do not care. I give it moral consideration at viability. And even then, you can still get an abortion. You just have to have a cesarean or give birth. But if most abortions, 90% of abortions happen before 13 weeks, I just don't care.
Still, that's like,
It's not.
so if I just like did nothing right or I did nothing wrong,
Mhm.
is it okay to kill me?
No, because you are an adult with critical thinking skills, and so there would be moral consideration for you.
So I get more rights because I'm older.
You don't get more rights. You get the same rights. That you are giving them more rights, which you actually conceded to in Olive's Live. You conceded to the fact that you are giving the fetus more rights.
Yeah, just like people with disabilities kind of get more rights too.
How-
Like in
how?
schools,
How do they get more rights?
they get to leave class early. They get to
No, they don't.
stuff like that.
No, they do not.
He's still complaining
I'm
about high
a senior
school.
in school. Yes, they do.
I'm sorry. Do regular students also get to leave school early if their parents come and get them?
Yes, but it's like
Oh,
an everyday
so
thing.
they're not given more. That's not more rights. That's not a right. Where is it a right given to you by the Constitution that you get to leave school early?
I don't know
He's
the exact
beefing with
article, or
accessibility. It's wild.
you're discriminating
No,
against fetus. You're
No, I'm not.
discriminating against humans that
No.
are just not as developed.
no, I'm not.
It's like the Holocaust.
It's not though, because those were people, right? Whereas this is a fetus,
So-
not a
so
developed
they-
human. So
So then when does it become human?
when does it become? It's always human. Again, what I'm talking about is the moral consideration.
You said have.
I said what I said this morning. I said what I meant, and I meant what I said. And an elephant's faithful, 100%.
And I hope you can hear me now. You won't get buns. Stop it.
Unless you got buns, hun.
Like this again, I will say it, and I will say it over and over again. The men who tend to have these arguments, the men who have these types of conversations are the same men who tend to end up in the statistic of abusing their wives and their children.
And thank you. And I have not debated abortion in a long time, but I appreciate because the word that you used is the word I was looking for, which is that they are not sentient beings. The reason that we choose 22 to 24 weeks, which we call viability, it's not because of their viability, at least under my purview. That's not the reason I choose it. It is just the compromise of viability. The reason that we choose that time frame is that is about the time where the synapses in the brain start connecting together for the fetus to gain sentience. I do not think it is moral to terminate a being with sentience. That's the difference, right? So, before 22 weeks, I really don't give a fuck because they are not a sentient being. Okay. Which is why you guys don't give a fuck about brain dead people. Now, coma is different because people in a coma still have sentience. Okay? But if you are brain dead, you guys are not sitting here complaining it's the Holocaust when we pull the plug on brain dead people. Because they're not sentient anymore. So, before 22 weeks, the fetus is not sentient. So I don't fucking care. I just don't care. Why should I care? Why? You don't care about human life. That's bullshit. You don't care about human life. Why? Because you specifically use the term unjustified, which is correct in way of murder. Why? Because you're probably fine with capital punishment. Oh, because they deserved it, because they did something to deserve it. So it's not about human life. Yeah, the Holocaust, excuse me. You're right, Bofa. I apologize. All right, keep tapping the screen, please. I would appreciate it. I'm kind of moving past TikTok guests too, to be honest. I don't trust them. So we're going to move on to elections. So there's been a huge cry now. As we saw yesterday, I was going to play the video again today, but then I decided I'm not gonna, where Donald Trump walked out on Kristen Welker because all she did was ask him for evidence of fraud in elections. That's all she did. Now, what's funny to me is all of a sudden we are seeing this across the board from reporters, and I will show you, to multiple members within Congress, to right-wing commentators. They are finally being asked. I don't know why they weren't being asked before, because we on this platform and on YouTube and Twitch damn sure were fucking asking it all this whole time. For 6 fucking years, we've been asking for this evidence. Courts asked for this evidence, but for some reason now the mainstream media is catching up to actually asking. And they're finally asking people, where is this evidence? And guess what? No one can give you an answer. The video I'm most excited to show you is Steve Scalise, a Republican congressman, specifically coming out and saying, quote, whether or not there was fraud, this undermines the election integrity. Bitch, what? Whether or not? If there's not fraud, it shouldn't undermine the election integrity. That is just you guys saying things. So we're going to get into it. The place that I would like to start first is going to be Trump's truth, specifically to Senate Majority Leader John Thune, about the fact that the parliamentarians shut down the SAVE Act, and so it did not end up in their reconciliation funding bill, and it couldn't. It's not allowed to. And so the parliamentarians said no. That made him very mad. So Senate Majority Leader John Thune should immediately fire the parliamentarian who treats Republicans and everything that they stand for horribly. She was put there by then Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid and Barack Hussein Obama. Need I say more? She is a nasty holdover from Mitch McConnell, a man who has proven to be very disloyal to John Thune. Mitch McConnell, again, a staunch Republican who spent his life installing Republicans into the court system, who decided to keep her because he loved giving trillions of dollars to the Democrats. But for the Republicans, including the wall, where I ended up having to go around him to build over 1,000 miles and close up our open border, he gave nothing. She is known as a radical left lunatic that caters to Democrats and has no respect for Republicans or Republican ideology. Just the other night, as an example, she ruled against us on a proposal that would have easily been approved and should have been by anyone else. We have every right to change her and should do so immediately. Except he doesn't. He doesn't have that right. That's not how that works. But he's very, very mad because things are not going his way. And again, he has no proof of the things he says. So, to get more on that, here's another of his truth. We talked about it yesterday a little bit. We just didn't get to this portion, which is the fact that California takes 500 fucking years to count votes. That is something that they've always done, is taken a long time to count votes. I did just look at an article from The Hill, though, that was talking about the fact that, again, in 2022, when Republicans picked up quite a few Republican seats in the midterms, it took them about 2 weeks. After the first week, they only had about 70% of the votes counted, and this was in 2022. They have put in money into ballot initiatives in the state of California, and as of now, 1 week after the vote, they are at about 94% counted for the totality of the state. So apparently it has improved from 2022. They weren't complaining in 2022 when they picked up seats. So what we saw is the LA mayor's race, where you had Karen Bass at the top the entire time by a fucking long shot. Just not enough to hit the 50% threshold where she doesn't have to go to November. She has to go to November. What we had underneath that was Spencer Pratt and Nithya Raman. Nithya Raman was slowly starting to bridge that gap. Why? Because I think it's only about like a 15% Republican district in LA. And it's a lot more Democratic. And so she was closing that gap, and she has now surpassed him. So it is projected that Karen Bass will be going against Nithya Raman in the LA mayoral race in November. That made Donald Trump very mad because he can't lose. So, not possible for Spencer Pratt to have lost the LA runoffs after the big lead he had. Third world nation, rigged elections. Now they'll be working on great guy Steve Hilton. Hold on to that. We'll talk to Steve Hilton in a minute. Won't have results for possibly 2 weeks, according to officials. Yes, California counts very slow. That is something that they do. So, let's get to some of that. Here's some of the polling in California. Here is our good boy, Good Boy Red Bull Golden Retriever, Harry Enton, to talk about some of the California numbers and why it's not this giant tinfoil conspiracy as to why Spencer Pratt lost. Guys, can we get finishing those roses, please? I would appreciate it.
This is the dumbest conspiracy theory I have ever heard, because the Democratic establishment and Karen Bass wanted Spencer Pratt in the runoff. They don't want any part to do with Nithya Raman. Why is that? Because just take a look here. Okay,
Also, that's not true, Wooski. You just said that there are not Wooski. I apologize, not you. Chunk Norris, you said that they're scared of audits. No, because elections have been audited.
Mayor runoff polls, Bass versus opponent versus Pratt. Bass would have crushed Pratt by 18 points. That's what the polling showed. Look at how she does against Nithya Raman, on the other hand. Raman is ahead by 4 points. Bass has a real race on her hand if, in fact, Raman is the one who advances. And, of course, the Democratic establishment is backing Karen Bass. But versus Spencer Pratt, she was crushing him. She wanted to face Pratt. She wanted nothing to do with Raman. That's why these conspiracy theories, simply put, make no sense, people.
When we talk about...
Wooski, what's the reason, though? And I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I'm saying what I just told you is in 2022, after a week of counting votes in the midterms, California only had about 70% of their votes counted. Now, a week after this midterm cycle of voting, they have increased that threshold to about 90%. So again, I'm not saying that that's not, that they need to stop working on it. They need to continue, but it is a huge state. So as long as the votes are postmarked on election day, they are allowed to count it. That is the law. So what is the reason behind it? Because that is insinuating fraud, which you can't prove to me, because none of the Republicans can prove it.
Favorability, you have more evidence here.
Yeah, this is...
Carol Baskin. Eli. Fed them to tigers, they're snacking. Let me get this to load. W's to Lenati for the $2 on PayPal said, please mute Knick-Knack in chat, spreading election misinformation. Say hi to your mom. Knick-Knack, te quiero mucho, mi amor. Guys, let's find Knick-Knack in the chat. They get a lovely little mute for the day. Guys, don't forget that you can mute people in the chat that you no longer want to listen to.
Do you want someone muted in the chat? Is there someone who's spamming, making disingenuous arguments, displaying bot behavior, or maybe they're just a dumb bitch? Well, you can keep them muted and contribute to their degradation kink. But remember, while we don't kink shame, it is perfectly acceptable to kink ask why. You can keep them muted for as little as $2 a day, $7 a week, or $25 a month. Pay links in the bio.
All right, so bye, Knick-Knack. Again, back to polling. Because it is not out of the realm of possibility for Spencer Pratt to lose this. Why? Oh, because LA is a majority democratically held.
More evidence. You know, why is it that Nithya Raman's doing so much better than Spencer Pratt would against Karen Bass? It's simply put, Raman is actually decently liked by LA city voters. Look at this. Okay, Nithya Raman, +5 on the net favorability rating. Karen Bass, way underwater at -22 points. You basically just need someone who's half decently well liked to be favored, or at least have a real shot against the incumbent Karen Bass. Spencer Pratt, on the other hand, look at that. He's even less liked than Karen Bass. He's 32 points underwater. Karen Bass doesn't want to face Nithya Raman. She would love to face Spencer Pratt because, simply put, she's managed to find someone who's more unpopular than she is, and she's quite unpopular.
This is really interesting. You look at these numbers, one of these things is not like the other
No.
here. She is definitely more like than the other two. Now, the president here, obviously the president is looking at this race. He's all kinds of upset about it. He presumably wanted Pratt here.
Yes, Republican wants a Republican. News at 11.
Angelinos, what do they think about the president?
Yeah, okay, this is another thing. The President of the United States is such a drain on Spencer Pratt. I mean, hello, okay, Los Angeles city voters. Trump's net approval rating in the city of Los Angeles is about 55 points underwater. I mean, the idea that a Republican could be the mayor of New York when the President of the United States has a net approval rating 50, yeah, it's so difficult. 50.
Just NATO, you're saying we have one party that controls the election system. I don't think you know what a federal election commission is or what election commissions are in each state, or the fact that both parties have access to that information.
5 points underwater, and then registered as Republican. Just 15% of the voters in the city of Los Angeles are registered as Republican. 55% are Democrats. Spencer Pratt was facing a mountain in order to win, and so Karen Bass and the Democratic establishment knew that there's basically no chance a Republican could be the next mayor of New York. The only way she could lose is if she goes up against another Democrat, and you see it right here, very simply put. Up by 4, no wonder, and that is where the results right now are moving. A Rahman versus Bass general election, which I said at the top, an absolute nightmare for the Democratic establishment and Karen Bass. They would have much preferred Spencer Pratt.
Much like Tallarico and Paxton. Tallarico much rather go against Paxton than go against Cornyn, so that's going to work out really well. Now, he could still lose. I'm not saying he's going to win. I'm not making that, what would you call it, projection, but he would much rather go against Paxton, which we can talk about because Paxton's own lawyer went against him, so that's fun. But again, look, Los Angeles city voters, only 15% are registered as GOP, and the approval rating right now is negative 55 points for Trump, who, like, I'll say, like, half-assed endorsed Spencer Pratt. It's not like he did a full thing and endorsed him. He just was kind of like, I hear he's MAGA, I like him. That was pretty much all that we got out of Trump. But that's enough of an endorsement for Spencer Pratt to run off with. But again, as votes are coming in, as they're being counted, how in hell is there any kind of conspiracy beyond this? But Karen Bass would really have loved to go against Pratt instead of going against Rahman. Her race is actually now harder, thank God.
Discomfort, no doubt, this morning
Yes.
in and around the establishment in Los Angeles. Harry, and thank you for explaining that so well.
Thank you, my friend.
You're an outstanding.
I know that. Primary votes are not general election. This will decide who goes against Karen Bass in November. California's structure is even weirder. If Karen Bass would have won 50%, above 50% of the votes outright, she would have won the seat. They wouldn't have had to go to November. California's weird like that. They have what's called a jungle primary. Top 2, regardless of party, go to November. Okay. W's to Anthony for the $5 said, Kink ask why, had me dying. We do love Eli for our mod announcements. Thank you so much, Eli, for doing those for me. I do appreciate that you take the time out of your day, and I know you do have busy days, so I appreciate you taking time out of your day and your capitalism to do those things for me. Thank you.
I can never escape his voice, ever, at this point in time.
It's constant.
Everywhere I go. It's everywhere.
Guys, you're doing wonderful tapping the screen. Let's make sure we continue to do it because I just got a restriction. Apparently, people are uncomfortable with me. That's interesting. So, we're going to go to, let's do Steve Hilton first. So it's a relatively longer interview, but he went on with Erin Burnett on CNN to talk about the election because she's going to bring up to him. Again, Steve Hilton, if you don't know. Steve Hilton is number 2 right now, most likely going to go against Javier Becerra for the governor's race in November, right? So Javier Becerra went up against him, is above him in votes. He's going to November. That's it. Steve Hilton and Tom Steyer were right underneath him. Tom Steyer is also a Democrat, but he does not have the votes for this. I don't think he's going to pick up those votes either. So Steve Hilton will most likely be going to November. He is a Republican. He's British, but he's a Republican. Now, Erin Burnett is going to ask him about the fact that Trump and all of these other Republicans are screaming fraud as he is sitting at the number 2 slot. Let's listen to what Steve Hilton has to say about that.
Steve, we're just getting these latest numbers, and the latest numbers show that you are in second, obviously number 1, and number 2 advanced to November, just to remind anybody who isn't following this as closely. So President Trump has posted, Steve, quote, not possible for Spencer Pratt to have lost the LA runoffs after the big lead he had. Third world nation, rigged elections. Now they'll be working on great guy Steve Hilton. So he's saying there's a conspiracy to rig the vote against you right now. What do you say to that?
Well, I think the most important point, Erin, is that we're feeling as confident as we ever have been that I'm going to make the top 2. Tom Steyer is just not getting the numbers he needs to catch up with us, and there's a diminishing amount of vote out there.
And that's true. I don't think that Tom Steyer is going to have the votes to make that up.
For him to make up that ground. And that's the really important point. It means that in November, Californians will be able to choose change from 16 years that have given us these terrible results, the highest cost of living in the country, all those things we've talked about many times. That's the substantive point that matters here, that in November, there'll be a real choice. Do we want more of the same with Javier Becerra, more of the same cost and incompetence and corruption, or do we want to go in a new direction to lower costs, lower taxes, and put California back on track?
So I don't know if you saw this because it just happened, but Congressman Kevin Kiley, he's an independent, but he was until very recently a Republican, as you know, California. He says that the pace of the counting is unacceptable. And I think a lot of very reasonable people agree with that. Sure. Come on, California. It's great independents and everybody get to vote in these primaries, but it shouldn't take so long to count. Okay, but then when it comes to these issues of, the president is out there saying that means there's fraud and a conspiracy. Congressman Kiley says no, that there's no evidence of fraud. I wanted to play for you what he just said, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any evidence you are aware of that there is any fraud in the counting of the election in California?
No, I don't think that's particularly a helpful way to characterize it, because the slow counting of ballots, I think, is a problem. So I think California does need to get its act together, but that's not the way to characterize it. Yeah.
There's no fraud that you're aware of?
I haven't. No, I mean, I have heard, not at least in relation to counting the votes late.
That's where I would be with it. I would agree with him in that aspect. I think that they need to be faster. They need to, I don't know if they need to hire more people and have more polling places that are safe to be able to do this vote counting. I don't know what they need to do to get that together, but they need to. I absolutely agree with that. The the counting of the votes takes too fucking long. But I also agree with him that has nothing to do with fraud. We're not seeing that. We're not seeing proof of that. And we'll get to that, again, asking Republicans for proof.
So I just, in terms of where you stand, are you worried that there's fraud right now? Or are you just, hey, frustrated that the count is slow, but that you believe the process is fair?
Yeah, so look, there's so many things wrong with the system. I've been saying all along that we take it very seriously because we don't want to let people down, and we're being very vigilant on it. We're keeping an eye on it. We've got teams standing by, lawyers standing by, and actually it's the same answer that actually I've been...
Joe Donovan, you're screaming in all caps to say California takes too long, wrong too, for vote count. It will be close because they will cheat for Becerra. You spelled Becerra wrong, mark my words. Becerra's in the lead. What are you talking about? Becerra is going to November. Kevin Kyle only changed his party affiliation after Cali redistrict. Becerra's already in the lead.
Giving for a few days now. We've seen nothing that would give us cause to intervene in that way. But more importantly than that, Bill Essayli, the U.S. attorney, who's actually got the full weight, we're just a campaign, he's got the full weight of the Justice Department, and he's there and he's taking a look at it. And I trust that if there is anything that needs to be investigated, that he will make sure it happens. But I think the real point is that this whole system needs to be improved. At the end of last week, I actually offered Gavin Newsom a suggestion for how we could speed things up, because one of the reasons it's so slow is that it's done county by county. There just aren't enough people in the offices doing the counting. One reason for that is because you've got a lot of complexity, because there's a lot of signature verification. One way around that, we can actually vote for in November in California, voter ID. That would remove the need for all the signature verification. That would really speed things up.
Not necessarily. Because then you guys would complain that people can create fraudulent voter IDs. No, you would still have to match it against the system, right? Okay.
So there's a lot of sensible things we could do to avoid this kind of fiasco.
Also make it free, and then fine. I don't care.
And that's really what it is. It's making California look like a laughing stock around the world. None of us want that. So I'm looking for positive, practical changes we can make to the system to speed it up, but also to prevent the opportunity for people to look at what's going on and say, look, there's got to be something fishy.
But he didn't say that. So that's interesting, because he's the one in the race, and he's very specifically not saying that anything was fishy. So I will say good for Steve Hilton on that. You're a MAGA piece of crap, but good for Steve Hilton on that. I'll take that. But unfortunately, we don't get that from people who aren't in California and aren't in the race. This is the absolute MAGA piece of shit, Randy Fine. And he's going to make a very, very interesting claim about voter fraud in California. Yeah, voter ID doesn't help mail-in ballot counting, because that's not how that works. Which is why it takes so long, because they're counting mail-in or dropped-off ballots.
so people can just dig through garbage cans, find ballots,
Yep.
and send them in apparently forever after an election is over. It's not okay. It's got to come to an end, and people need to go to jail.
People are dumpster diving for ballots to turn in perpetuity, according to Randy Fine. That's interesting. I didn't know that we threw them away like that. So if we throw them away like that, I'm very interested to know what the DOJ actually retrieved from Georgia. You know, those big pallets that they had of ballots? I wonder what they retrieved, because apparently we throw them away to a point that we can dumpster dive to get them, according to Randy Fine. According to Randy Fine. Yeah, I could probably talk about it next Midterm Monday, Artist, after I get some more information on it. I've seen some of the numbers on it. I've seen it went from, God, what's the one before that? It moved to leaning Republican, which is a decent move. That's a good thing. We like to see that. Okay, so let's move to Mike Johnson. Let's go to Mike Johnson. Because this one was great. So Manu Raju is going to ask Mike Johnson again the question that for some reason apparently reporters were not asking, but we have been asking, which is, where is the proof? Where's the proof? Where's the proof?
So does the tip of the iceberg. Speaking of fraud, the president keeps saying that there's...
Okay, didn't realize this clip does that, but it's okay. Guys, please, it's only coming out of one earbud for me. It's coming out of my left ear. So if you can't hear it, it might be because you need to switch earbuds if you're wearing earbuds. So I apologize for that.
So does the tip of the iceberg. Speaking of fraud, the president keeps saying that there's election fraud in the California mayor's race. What evidence is there to prove that?
You tell me, Manu. They are counting votes weeks after the election. We have entire nations with huge populations, like India, that can count their votes in 24 to 48 hours.
You're saying it's rigged like the president?
I'm not saying it's rigged. I'm saying it stinks to high heaven. And
How does it stink to high heaven? The fact that they count their votes, as long as they were, again, postmarked on election day, they're counting their votes. It takes them a long time, and I'm not saying that's okay. They can fix that. But that in and of itself, taking a long time to count, does not equal fraud. So proof, again, where's the proof?
Everybody knows that. Let's remove the appearance of impropriety. Let's have, what a concept. Let's have votes on an election the day of the election. That's what...
No, because that is how we get people who voted in person, which most likely is Republicans. I've actually been meaning to make a new video about this. So I made one in like 2021, I think, or in 2020, a long time ago. I used the sound from Friends where Phoebe is trying to teach Joey French. And this concept that Donald Trump told people, even though he votes by mail, don't know if you know that, he votes by mail, but told his people not to vote by mail. He did this in 2020. He did this now. He told people not to vote by mail. And then his people don't vote by mail. They vote in person. In-person votes get counted quicker and faster and first because they're right there. Mail-in votes take time because there are stacks of them. And I believe, like somebody said, the statute in California is they cannot start counting those until Election Day poll close. So they have to wait until poll close on Election Day to start counting the stacks and stacks of mail-in ballots that they have had returned from early voting. Those votes then come in and tend to be majority Democratic. Why? Because Donald Trump told y'all not to vote by mail. So the reason I say it's like the Friends where Phoebe tries to teach Joey French is it's like, don't vote by mail. They're like, don't vote by mail. Yeah, don't vote by mail. Don't vote by mail. I didn't vote by mail. Where's all our votes? Like, you didn't. That's not how that works. So the reason why they would like to keep it to 24 to 48 hours is because that is only going to be factoring in in-person votes, which are majority Republican. That's not how that works.
Many states are able to do. I think California is playing around with this.
But what evidence is there to prove that there was rigged?
Look, some of these efforts are so diabolical and so far upstream it is impossible to prove.
Oh, we love that tinfoil hat conspiracy. Manu Raju just asked, where's the proof, Mike Johnson? Where's the proof of this? You are saying that there's something in the air. There's something conspiracy. Where's the proof? And he says specifically, some of them are so diabolical, done upstream. The Democrats are so brilliant at fraud. I knew it. There it goes. there it goes. Fuck. Hi, YouTube and Twitch. I have to appeal this real quick, and then we'll get back to what we were doing. Okay? I knew that was going to happen. Fucking elections. I knew that was going to happen. We might have to go live on YouTube and Twitch today. Where's my notification? Let's see. Let's see. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Keep do your thumbs up, please, for me. Okay. I appealed. Let me see if I can do this. Switch accounts. If not, we'll be watching on YouTube and Twitch today. Give me a second, though. No, I know, but I want to do it the other one, the other account. Hold on, let me switch. Switch to this account. Because this one has access too. Oh, goodness. Thank you for the jewels, by the way. Oh, that was my husband. Thank you. Well, they can come to... For now. Yeah, I'm pressing it. All right, we're just going to go with Twitch and YouTube because TikTok is not liking it. I'm trying to say get live access, but it doesn't want to let me do it. So we're just going to stay right here. Okay, so what I need to do now is I need to move that over to here so that I can see better. Okay, cool. Let's do that. I don't like being down here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. We're waiting on my appeal, and my other account doesn't seem to want to work. So until my appeal, election stuff. I told you guys it was going to happen. I fucking told you guys. My appeal is submitted, so we're just waiting to see if I get approved because I didn't do it. Oh, wait. Am I approved? Did you do it? Did you do it? Hold on. Let's see if I did it. What do you mean you couldn't switch? You can. You know how. I might have to I might just have to reset TikTok. That might be why. TikTok Studios. I knew they were going to be a bitch about this. Okay. Okay, so I am back. However, we are going to finish this on Twitch and YouTube probably. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
I don't want to be in the comments.
I know. So my appeal was approved. But I don't really want to finish the election section on TikTok.
Okay. No, you're good. I'm just giving you shit. That's all.
But then I can come back once we're past the election section.
True. That's fair. All right. Well, I'll just sit quietly in the comments. And
I
then
love
need to go back
you.
up. I love you. Fuck TikTok. Bye-bye.
That's why we're trying to move away from that shit, because it's trash. So, okay. Let me just notify them in here. All right, let's do that. I got approved, Audie, actually. I was surprised. All right, so back to Mike Johnson. Again, he is saying that, he doesn't have proof. So let's hear him answer that question again.
Look, some of these efforts are so diabolical and so far upstream it is impossible to prove. But I think everybody knows instinctively something is wrong here. And that's a concern. We need.
No, because if you don't have proof of something being wrong, then obviously something isn't wrong. Again, Democrats cannot be so stupid that they are committing benefits fraud, Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP fraud in the states that J.D. Vance and Mehmet Oz are going to be able to uncover because they're dumb and don't know what they're doing. They cannot both be doing that while at the same time saying that they are so brilliant that they get away with election fraud. Where's the proof? That's the question we're asking, Mike Johnson. Where's the proof?
We need people to believe in the integrity of our election system. It is critical to maintain a constitutional republic. We're going to keep working to pass the Save America Act because it requires, as you know, proof of citizenship and a photo ID to vote. Those are also 90% plus issues in public opinion.
We already do that. We already have to approve citizenship. We already do that.
And 70% of Democrats understand that's necessary. We have to.
But again, if you want to do a voter ID, I don't have any issue with that. What I, again, am saying is that whatever documents you need to get that need to be free. Need to be free for U.S. citizens, or else it is a poll tax and it's unconstitutional. If you want to make it free, I don't have any issue with that.
Just saying that because you've lost the election because the Republicans did not win in this race. This is why you're hearing that?
I'm saying that every leader of all parties should demand election integrity. And if somebody is opposing that, you should look at their motives. That's what I'm saying. We'll see later.
They're not. They're saying you're making it more difficult and that it is a poll tax and so it's unconstitutional as he runs away. Okay. So, make sure that worked. That was Mike Johnson. Now we're going to go to, do I want to do Ron Johnson first? No, I don't. I think I want to do, let's do Brian Tyler Cohen. Again, we're pushing back on this claim. Where is your proof? Where is your proof of fraud? We're still waiting.
There is no actual evidence of widespread fraud. And in fact, Justin Levitt, who is a professor at Loyola Law School, did a comprehensive study spanning 14 years, studied 1 billion ballots that were cast. They found 31 instances of voter or election fraud. 31 instances out of 1 billion ballots cast. If we look toward a red state, Utah wanted to see how many undocumented immigrants were voting in that state. There's no Democrats to gum up the works in that state. They looked at over 2 million voter registrations. They found one instance of an undocumented immigrant who was on the voter rolls. That person never even voted. So we can hear all the rhetoric in the world from Donald Trump straight on down about how Democrats are doing something nefarious, but not a single Republican can point to a single instance of widespread voter fraud in this country that would in any way change the results of these elections. Yeah, there is no actual evidence.
So again, where's the evidence? How would counting that many ballots only take 1 or 2 days, Joe? That doesn't make any sense. You want it to, but it doesn't. And then this is, again, CNN, but this is Phillips pushing back again on fraud claims. Where is the fraud? They don't have it. They just tell you it exists, and you guys just eat it up. Please be intelligent, have critical thinking skills. He has been talking about this longer than we talk about 6 years because we talk about 2020. It's been longer than that, and you know that. And I'll get into that with Ron Johnson in the 2016 election.
With his loss in 2020, which he has now tasked the government with trying to validate.
By the way, all of you, thank you for those who did transfer over and come over to YouTube and Twitch. I appreciate you guys. If you're over here on YouTube, if you could hit that thumbs up button for me, please. If you have not already, I would appreciate it so very much. Thank you. Yes. And if you're not a part of the Discord, you should be. So if you go to the link tree in my bio and you go to my Discord, you probably have to copy and paste it into a browser to join. But if you join, there's a small bit of verification that you can do, but then join that Discord so that you get notifications about when I am shut down or I'm over on YouTube and Twitch only, okay?
Though there's no proof of it, why is it that when
Ray, how are mail-in ballots fraud? Show me. Proof?
he is challenged on that, he can't answer for it.
Look,
Why does it take longer than 2 days? Because people drop off, because ballots still come in through the mail after the 2 days, Joe. They are postmarked election day, though. So they still count because they mailed them out at the time they were allowed to, or they dropped them off into a ballot drop box at the time that they were allowed to. They are postmarked election.
We know there were, look, after the fact, we know there were problems in Arizona. We know there were problems in Georgia. We know after investigation.
No, we don't.
You can't prove that in 45 days.
What were they,
okay?
Hal? It's been...
Okay, so Phillips is going to push back. He said, we know there were problems in Georgia. We know there were problems in Arizona. What problems?
It's been 6 years.
What were they?
What were the problems?
There were problems with the voters in Georgia. They found voters that were voters that...
There was no problem.
How many fraudulent votes were cast in Georgia? Because I live in Georgia. I want to hear you live.
And I lived in Arizona.
That's a lot. Okay, first of all,
I lived in
we can't
Arizona.
have this conversation. We can't have this conversation. This man just said that there were thousands of
The more you guys yell there's no fraud, the more likely there was fraud.
No, the more that you lie, the more we're going to push back on the fact that you are lying.
81 million votes.
The Heritage Foundation keeps the largest database on voter fraud.
Yes, 81 million. More people voted by mail that year because of COVID.
This is so ridiculous. I want to walk off this.
I'm sorry, I'm going to finish this point. I'm going to finish this point. They keep
Thank
30
you,
years.
Forsyth.
They've tracked 32 elections, 100 million votes. They have found 39 total cases of voter fraud.
So what's the evidence to the contrary? He is saying they found 39 total cases. Where's more? Where are there more? Show me. Where are there more?
So the Heritage Foundation is a third. Where's your proof?
Where's your
And he just said he cited the Heritage Foundation, the right-wing organization that published Project 2025, that Donald Trump is the one that is doing that right now, putting that into effect. Right-wing Heritage Foundation says 39 cases total in 2020.
I just cited my source. What is your source?
I got a question for you.
I just cited... No.
What's your source? That's what we have been asking you for 6 years. What is your source? If you are going to, I'm fed the fuck up, to be honest. I'm fed up. I'm glad I'm not on TikTok right now. I'm fed the fuck up. If you are going to keep claiming there is fraud, prove it. Fucking prove it. You guys have not proven it at all. You guys don't know what you're talking about. You talk about the 300,000. You don't know that those votes were found to be valid. It was just the chain of custody of the election official who didn't sign off on them. They re-looked at those votes, recounted those votes. The election official signed off. They were valid votes. You don't know what you're talking about. You guys just glaze Trump's taint, want to be right. You are wrong without evidence. Tinfoil hat.
Because I don't want to know what your source is.
You said
what
it's
is your
absurd.
source?
Why is it
Mine is the
absurd?
Heritage Foundation.
Do you think there's no H-1B visa
Where is
fraud?
your source?
Do you think there's no Medicare fraud?
You don't have any source.
That's not the argument, is it? Is there fraud within the H-1B visa system? Probably. Is there fraud within Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP? Yes. Not to a highest degree where we need to do this, but we are talking about voting. He said there's irregularities and problems in Georgia and Arizona. What were they? And he has yet to list them. The question he was asked was what irregularities happened in Georgia and Arizona, and he can't list them.
Home health care fraud? Can you let me finish?
You are not saying a source.
Guys.
You are not saying a source.
There's fraud all over the federal government. There's fraud all over the states.
Where is your source?
And yet there's no voter fraud?
Are you kidding me?
Nobody said there was no voter fraud. He just cited the Heritage Foundation and said that the voter fraud was 39 cases. He didn't say there wasn't. He said 39 cases. Would that have changed the outcome for Trump, those 39? And actually, a lot of the fraud that they found was people voting for Trump when they already voted for Trump. Or people trying to have their dead grandmothers vote for Trump.
The idea that you're sitting here trying to convince us based on no source whatsoever to trust your word and trust the president's word when we know he is lying. And I want to know if you think there was I don't know if we're sitting here with two election deniers.
Just a second.
Do you think it's rigged as well?
Tell me there's no fraud in anything. Medicare, Medicaid, H-1B visas, nothing.
You have no source, and you're going to get louder and louder, and it's still not going to work.
See how he pivoted? Again, the question he was asked before the chaos ensued was, where is the proof of the irregularities in the voting for Georgia and Arizona? He has yet to cite a source for that. The source that this man cited, he said, oh, you gotta be kidding me, and didn't give anything to the contrary, and now has pivoted to Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP, home health care. He has pivoted to a different source of fraud, which he doesn't also have a source for either, instead of directly answering the question that was given to him.
California won't allow the federal government to louder and louder, and it's still not going to work because you don't have a single source in your whole body.
Stop talking. Guys, stop talking. Because y'all are talking so loud. But to be honest, Hal, you're not saying anything.
Okay, I think I am.
No, you're not.
I think I am. I think I told you that my feelings are that there's fraud in the elections. I can't prove it. But, like, I think I explained that I feel it. Just like Mike Johnson said, it's so diabolical, we can't prove it. Right? So, now I want to get to Ron Johnson. So Ron Johnson also came out and said that there's irregularities in the election, and even the News Nation host is going to ask for proof. Where's that proof?
She pressed him, senators, you heard about whether he had evidence. There's never been evidence presented in any of these cases. Do you side with the president when he speaks about this topic, or would you rather?
Jerry, where has it been proven? Go ahead, Jerry. We'll wait. Where's that proof, Jerry? 60 plus court cases. Where's that proof? Okay.
Rather that he skip it entirely.
I think so many cases. I mean, I'm doing my investigations in terms of the corruption during COVID.
Yeah.
And some side will say, well, there's no proof. There's no evidence. I mean, there was so much evidence of irregularities in the 2020 election, but all you have to do is say there's no evidence, there's no proof. There are all kinds of irregularities that occur. I mean, the fact that California, how many days after the election, still can't call the resort.
But my point is there's never been anything proven on scale that would affect an election, whether it be at a national level or a big statewide.
Riot, I can pay attention to Jerry Y8F. He's in my chat all the time. As soon as he gives me that proof, I can look it up while we're watching these videos.
Election like this. I understand there's irregularities. There always are. But on scale, that would impact an election. I've never seen it.
Which is evidence. Yeah, I mean, people that do things cover it up. But again, I'm getting very tired.
How are they so good at covering it up, though? Because again, the News Nation host is asking for the irregularities that would have changed the outcome. Waiting.
This. There is no evidence. There is no proof. There's tons of evidence. There's tons of irregularities. We need to take them seriously because what is absolutely true is Americans on both sides do not have confidence in our elections.
Yeah, because of Donald Trump. We looked at a study, actually, that I had brought on. God, it's been like a month or so ago now. I'll have to go find it again. Where, yeah, people, ever since Donald Trump, thank you, Donald Trump in 2015 and 2016, the confidence in our elections has gone down. Why? Because he has been touting it since 2015 and 2016. And I'll show you that. We'll get to that, Ron Johnson.
Unsustainable. 2016, because of the Russian collusion hoax ginned up by the Hillary Clinton campaign.
Not a hoax. And also not by the Hillary Clinton campaign. If you know anything that is reality about the Steele dossier was put together by Republican coalition. All that the Clinton Foundation did was purchase it from them. They purchased the Steele dossier from the Republican coalition that put it together. And actually, it wasn't a Russian collusion hoax because collusion is not a crime. But what they did find is people like Paul Manafort, who was in charge of his campaign, was actively feeding polling information to his source in Russia. Paul Manafort did admit to not registering as a foreign agent because of the dealings he was doing with Russia, and he was in charge of his campaign. We also know that we had people from Russia come meet in Trump Tower with Don Jr. and Eric Trump at Trump Tower in New York. We knew that this happened. So again, you guys do not understand the facts of the situation. You just want to believe this very, very hard in your tummy.
She, of course, was the first election denier.
Now, pay attention to that one. Listen to it. I want you to hold on to it.
She, of course, was the first election denier.
He's talking about Hillary Clinton. He's saying she was the first election denier.
Illegitimate election, 2016.
But if there's so much evidence, Senator, why not just present it? There's been multiple chances to do so, courts of law and otherwise.
People do, and it's ignored. You know, all those court cases.
It's ignored. No, it is ruled that they don't have evidence, and for lack of standing, because they don't have evidence to prove the things that they said. They believe it. Rudy Giuliani specifically said, quote, "We believe this happened, and we will find the evidence later."
them never investigated, never reviewed the evidence because
Bullshit. 60 plus court cases reviewed and said no. It didn't happen. There were multiple audits on Georgia. There were multiple audits on Arizona. He lost.
it's always moot. The elections are certified. Nobody ever wants to take a look at it. Again,
Hillary Clinton wasn't in the files in that way, Tyson. I don't think you've read the files. Bill Clinton absolutely was. Go get him. Tell Todd Blanche, as the acting attorney general and now nominated to be permanent attorney general, tell him to go get Bill Clinton. I don't care.
and that's just that. Take
Okay, so Ron Johnson is saying that Hillary Clinton was the first election denier. I didn't realize I had a clip of it where he said it for real. Now, the reason he's saying this is because of this interview in 2019 after, which is her, again, talking about something she said after the election about Donald Trump's win. Okay, and we'll play it. I have no problem playing what Hillary Clinton said. Ready?
I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows that there were a bunch of different reasons why the election turned out the way it did. And I take responsibility for those parts of it that I should. But Jane, it was like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado. And so I know that he knows that this wasn't on the level. I don't know that we'll ever know everything that happened, but clearly we know a lot and are learning more every day, and history will probably sort it all out. So of course he's obsessed with me, and I believe that it's a guilty conscience in so much as he has a conscience. I believe.
Now, do I agree with her saying he was an illegitimate president? No, I don't agree with that at all. I would admonish her for saying that. He won. That was the votes that we had. Unless she has evidence, again, I will ask her. Hillary Clinton, do you have evidence to the contrary? No, she doesn't. Donald Trump won the 2016 election. That is what happened. Now, she won the popular vote, but he won the Electoral College. That's it. That's all. So I don't like that she said that. However, remember the claim. Ron Johnson claimed that she was the first election denier. Now, though that clip was 2019, she did say it shortly after, focus, after she lost. After she lost, she conceded, by the way, something Donald Trump has never done. But she conceded, but said he was illegitimate, right? That happened shortly after the election, so 2016, 2017. But Johnson said that she was the first election denier, which is interesting, and I'll show you why. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Joe, 35.
Your state and who you voted for?
Oh, Nebraska, Donald Trump.
Okay. Why are you still supporting Trump?
Why?
Yeah.
He's a great president.
How so?
How so? Well, you're just talking about election deniers, weren't you?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about
Well, then,
him. I'm talking about the fact that he has been
not-
asked. I'm talking about the fact that he has been asked for evidence multiple times. Him and Republicans have been asked for evidence of widespread election fraud, and they cannot give that to us.
Well, here's the truth about it. If there's no election fraud going on,
I didn't
then
say
how
there's no
come
election fraud.
the Democrat Party.
Nobody
is so
said there's no
against,
nobody
passing a law.
nobody in the Democratic Party has said that there is no election fraud. They are saying that the system is safe
Okay.
because the election
Well,
fraud
then
is
if
not
you
widespread
don't-
to
if you
change.
want to
The
minimize
election fraud is not
fraud-
widespread to change the outcome of elections. So the election system
if
is
you want
safe.
to minimize election fraud,
Sure.
then why aren't you for having an identification?
I am, as
every
long as
time
the
you
no,
vote
I totally
in
am.
any
I am
election?
totally fine with passing a law for voter ID as long as the documents that you need to get to acquire that voter ID are free for U.S. citizens. I have no problem with that.
Well, why not? That's
Because
fine
that's a
with
poll
me.
tax, and that's unconstitutional to make them pay for that because it is
No,
our
it's
constitutional
not.
right to vote.
Um,
It is. It
poor
is our constitutional
people
right
can
to vote. So
afford
if you have to, no,
an
it is our
ID.
constitutional right to vote. So if you have to pay anything extra to be
Do
able
you
to
know
vote,
anybody
that
who
is a
doesn't
poll
have an
tax,
ID?
and that is unconstitutional.
Do you know anybody who doesn't have an ID?
Yeah, actually, I do know people, but that's not the point.
Oh,
The point
who are
is,
they?
the point is,
Who are they?
The point is, I have a couple of friends who
You're
don't
a
have IDs
liar.
because they don't need
You're
to
a
have
liar.
them. And also,
Oh,
by
why
the way,
don't they need to-
regular
is it because
regular
they're
IDs,
illegal immigrants and
regular
can't have
IDs,
one?
regular.
That'd
No,
be
actually,
why.
no. Immigrants can get IDs. You know that, right?
I just said, is it because they're an illegal immigrant?
They can get
and
IDs.
They don't want to get one, so that
They
the
can get
government doesn't
IDs.
know they're here.
Illegal immigrants can get IDs.
I'm just asking you,
Okay.
why does 2 of your friends not have an ID?
Because they choose not to.
Oh, and for what reason?
Because they don't want to. I never asked them. It's not my business.
Okay.
But again, my
They
point is,
obviously
again,
probably don't
see,
work
you
a
see how
job
you're
then.
you see how you're
They
obfuscating
don't
from the fact that I am
drive.
they
They obviously don't have any health care, so they must be, living nefariously, or-
The Save America Act does not allow
You're
for
good
regular
at
licenses.
repeating
The Save America Act does not allow for regular licenses to be used as proof of any kind of U.S. citizenship
Yes,
to be
they
able to
do.
vote.
They put a
Show
mark
me in
on
the
them
Save
that says
America
you're
Act where a
verified
regular
that it's
license.
you.
Show me in the
Every
Save.
state
Show me
has
in the Save
the-
America
has
Act.
a
Show me.
star,
Show
and
me
it
in the
proves
Save
that you've
America.
been
That is a real
verified,
ID, and not
okay?
every
Good.
state has switched to a real ID, and a real ID
Yes,
is not
they
allowed.
will.
No,
They
a
are
real
switching
ID
to
is
it,
not
little
allowed.
Tootsie
A
Roll.
real
Yes,
ID
they
is
are.
not allowed. You have to have
Yes,
other
a real ID is
documentation as
allowed.
well. Do you have to have other documentation as well,
No,
or can you just use a real ID?
Democrats don't want ID.
Can you just use it? I am asking you
pass
questions about the Save
this
America
law to
Act,
pass
and you
because
want to
they
talk
want
about
to be able
Democrats.
to cheat.
That is not true. Again,
Democrats
I am
have been
fine with it as
stuffing
long as you
ballots.
don't charge. I'm going to put you on hold. You're going to shut up for a second. Not every state requires real ID, for one. For two, it is a poll tax. That's why we have an issue. So, Okay. Show me where a real ID can be used on its own, and then show me where a real ID is used in every single state in the United States.
You know, you act like,
I'm asking you for a
IDs
specific
are
portion. I'm
something
asking you for a specific
unaffordable
set.
for
I'm
the
asking you for a
general
specific. Can you give
population
that to me or
when
not? Can you give that
the
section to
person,
me or not?
a
Okay, you
poor-
can't. I'm glad you can't do that. You see how that works? You see how that works? Same with what we were talking about with Mike Johnson and all of them and Donald Trump when we ask for proof. We ask for proof and you just obfuscate about what Democrats are doing. Again, I have not seen any Democrat say that there is no fraud in elections. Of course there are. People fraud. That's fine. It's not fine. I don't mean it like that. Let me take that back. There is fraud in elections. What we do know is it is not widespread to change the outcome of elections. Now, I have no problem with voter ID. I have no problem with voter ID at all. But according to the Constitution, you cannot charge people to vote. So make the documentation that they need to get available and free for them to get said voter ID because we have a constitutional right to vote. I don't have any issue with that. That's fine. You want to reduce the amount of fraud in the system? I'm good with that. I'm on your side. You don't get to fucking charge people for that because that's against the Constitution. I'm so sorry. All right, back to what we were talking about. Actually, let me type something in real quick. Let me see. Oh. Right. There are states that don't issue real IDs, so that's where the problem is going to lie. Even though they were supposed to, we had the Real ID Act, and they were all supposed to switch over. They haven't. And actually, that's going to affect rural states a lot more than anything else. But remember, Ron Johnson said that Clinton was the first election denier. Now, Hillary Clinton did say he was an illegitimate president. I don't agree with that assessment. He won the votes. She has no proof. I would ask her for proof about why he's illegitimate. He won the votes. Again, don't agree with that statement by Hillary Clinton. But again, that happened after the election when she said that, which is interesting because this is Donald Trump before the election.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to make a major announcement today. I would like to promise and pledge to all of my voters and supporters and to all of the people of the United States that I will totally accept the results of this great and historic presidential election if I win.
Oh, okay. So if he wins, he'll accept the results. Okay. Is that not enough proof for you? Okay, well, let's go to the last debate that he had with Hillary Clinton in 2016. We'll go to that next. NATO, you said actually it was Gore who was the first in my lifetime, and that's fair. I'll actually agree with you. I know you and I don't actually agree on a lot of things. What I would say is Gore and Bush was interesting in the sense of, I wouldn't call him accusing it of fraud. I would say that his lawsuits were based off of a lack of counting of votes with the hanging chads, right? I don't know that I don't think he was accusing Bush of fraud. And actually, if you look at what happened with the court systems, the courts ruled, that's how the courts ruled, but there was legitimacy that was brought to this idea that there were more votes for Gore that just didn't get counted, but the courts ruled that was it, we are done, Bush won the election. So, but I would agree with you that probably Gore. I just wouldn't count it the same as like election denialism, maybe, but I agree with you in that way, that Gore. So let's go to the debate, the last debate that Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton had. Since Hillary Clinton was the first denier, this is interesting because this was on the campaign trail again before he won.
You have been warning at rallies recently that this election is rigged and that Hillary Clinton is in the process of trying to steal it from you. Your running mate, Governor Pence, pledged on Sunday that he and you, his words, will absolutely accept the result of this election. Today, your daughter Ivanka said the same thing. I want to ask you here on the stage tonight, do you make the same commitment that you will absolutely, sir, that you will absolutely accept the result of this election?
I will look at it at the time. I'm not looking at anything now. I'll look at it at the time. What I've seen.
That's not the answer, is it? I will look at it at the time. I will look at it at the time. Okay.
What I've seen is so bad. First of all, the media is so dishonest and so corrupt, and the pile-on is so amazing.
Oh, good to see that he's been complaining about the media for 10 fucking years. Actually longer if you go into the 80s and the things that he got for that. He cried about that for a long time.
The New York Times actually wrote an article about it that they don't even care. It's so dishonest, and they've poisoned the minds of the voters. But unfortunately for them, I think the voters are seeing through it. I think they're going to see through it. We'll find out on November 8th, but I think they're going to see through it.
But, sir,
if you look, excuse me, Chris, if you look at your voter rolls, you will see millions of people that are registered to vote. Millions. This isn't coming from me. This is coming from Pew Report and other places.
Peer Report. Where's that? Peer Report. Where's Peer Report? Coming from Peer Report. Okay, sure. Peer Report.
Millions of people that are registered to vote that shouldn't be registered to vote.
You know, every time.
Based on what? From Peer Report. Where's that from, Trump?
Donald thinks things are not going in his direction. He claims whatever it is rigged against him. The FBI conducted a year-long investigation into my emails. They concluded there was no case. He said the FBI was rigged. He lost the Iowa caucus. He lost the Wisconsin primary. He said the Republican primary was rigged against him.
Ooh.
Then Trump University gets sued for fraud.
But Ron Johnson said that Hillary Clinton was the first election denier. But Donald Trump said the Republican primaries were rigged against him. It's interesting that when he wins or his people win, everything's fine. There's nothing wrong with the election. But when they lose or the polling looks like they're going to lose, all of a sudden, it's rigged.
Racketeering, he claims the court system and the federal judge is rigged against him. There was even a time when he didn't get an Emmy for his TV program 3 years in a row, and he started tweeting that the Emmys were rigged against him.
Should have gotten it.
This is a mindset. This is how Donald thinks. And it's funny, but it's also really troubling.
Okay.
No, that is not the way.
And here we are, 10 years later, and that is why it is troubling. Because he is continuing to do it. He just had an entire hissy fit where he walked away from a woman reporter, even though he's so strong, because she asked him for proof. Mike Johnson is saying that the schemes are so diabolical that we can't prove it. Randy Fine is saying people are jumping into dumpsters. Ron Johnson is saying the irregularities are there. The MAGA commentator on CNN saying the irregularities are there, but where is the proof? The reason it is troubling is because you guys believe it. And you guys believe it without evidence. And actually, when you get evidence to the contrary, it makes you believe it more, even though you don't have evidence on your side. You are in a cult. Come back to reality. He has no proof of election fraud. He just says it. Guess what? Sometimes he wins and sometimes he loses.
Our democracy works. We've been around for 240 years. We've had free and fair elections. We've accepted the outcomes when we may not have liked them. And that is what must be expected of anyone standing on a debate stage during a general election. You know, President Obama said the other day, when you're whining before the game is even finished, it just shows you're not up to doing the job. And let's be clear about what he is saying and what that means. He is denigrating, he's talking down our democracy. And I, for one, am appalled that somebody...
Riot, what are you talking about? It's crazy how Democrats only like to debate on podcast and news stations where there's a corp in charge, but as soon as it hits the streets, they crumble. No, you need a moderator because you guys like to gish gallop, ramble, steamroll, and lie.
Who is the nominee?
Michael, we just talked about that. How do you have a 15% GOP voter registration in LA and think that you're going to win? That's my question.
One of our two major parties would take that kind of position.
So again, Hillary Clinton was not the first election denier because apparently it was Donald Trump, wasn't it? Okay, good to know. Now, last piece for this. Last piece. Steve Scalise, the one that I told you about. Steve Scalise is a full-on Trump taint glazer. He is going to get asked about the fact that the president says the California election is rigged without any evidence. So, what evidence does Steve Scalise have? Let's see what Steve Scalise has to say about that.
The president keeps saying that the California election was rigged. What evidence have you seen to show that there has been widespread fraud that has caused this election to be stolen?
Well, if you look over the years, what our concerns have been is on this wide scale where they mail ballots to everybody and then they have vote harvesting in California. And in other states do this too, not many.
What the fuck is vote harvesting? You mean people turn in their ballots or they mail them out? Which, by the way, you have a specific date of time that you're allowed to physically mail them or you have to drop them off.
But in states that do, I think where you really have a lot of voter anger, and you're seeing it in Los Angeles right now, even in
But again, Scalise, that wasn't the question. Where is the widespread voter fraud, please?
their mayor's race, where you had wide changes after election night in the results of an election.
Again, we just talked about this. Let's talk about it again, Steve Scalise. Yes, you get in-person voting counts first. A majority of those are going to be Republican, just because they tend to vote in person anyway, on top of the fact that Donald Trump has told them to stop voting by mail, even though he votes by mail in Florida. So the votes that we get after the fact are mail-in or dropped-off votes. Again, in California, you cannot start counting those votes until poll close on Election Day. So they have to catch up on counting those votes. It takes them a long time to do so. If you would like to change that statute so that they can start counting early but cannot release those counts until poll close, I'm totally fine with that. You can do that, but I don't live in California. You would have to make that the statute. It is a majority Democratic in California. I don't know why we're shocked that a Republican is losing.
And for days and weeks later, they just keep finding ballots until the election results change.
No, or the election results just change. Or they keep counting a ballot. They say, okay, this one, we match their signature to the DMV. That's a vote for this person. Okay, next ballot. Okay, let's look. Okay, match their signature to their ID in the system. Okay, that's that person's vote. And maybe the votes that we're getting just happen to be Democratic. You know what? Sometimes it's possible that you lose.
Whether you can prove fraud or not, it does undermine voter integrity.
That's my favorite. Ready? Listen.
Days and weeks later, they just keep finding ballots until the election results change. Whether you can prove fraud or not,
What?
Whether you can prove fraud or not, it does undermine voter integrity
Because you keep lying about it. Whether or not you can prove election fraud, it undermines the integrity. It undermines the integrity because you keep claiming that there is fraud without evidence. Without evidence.
fraud or not, it does undermine voter integrity in the vote. And whether they keep going through with that process, most states have their elections resolved on election night. You look at.
It's not true.
I think it's raised a lot of skepticism among voters when they see these wide changes days and weeks after the election, and you still can't get a result.
It's also not true. You do get a result. We get a result.
2-3 weeks after an election.
42. Yes, the Democrats admit that voter fraud happens. Does it happen to a widespread effect that is changing the outcome of elections?
Happened. Why not have all of your elections take place on election day and have the results that night? Florida used to have problems years ago, and they fixed their problems. And now you get the results by usually 9:30 at night in a large state like Florida. It obviously.
You actually still don't. What you get is what is called a projected winner, right? What they say is that they hit a threshold of a majority amount of counted votes, that we call it a projected winner. That means that it is going to follow the pattern that the rest of the votes that we are still counting, because they still count even after that fact, are most likely going to still lean this way and not be able to change the projected winner. Projected, not actually won, because you have to hit that threshold.
Can be done.
Prove that. COS, prove that. If it's constantly done by the demon rats, prove it. Where is your evidence? Because the president doesn't have any, Steve Scalise doesn't have any, Mike Johnson doesn't have any, Ron Johnson doesn't have any. Where is the fraud?
If you choose to do it, and if you don't, it just undermines a lot of people's faith in those elections. Yes, ma'am.
Again, whether or not you can prove fraud. I have the link to what video, Riot? What are you talking about? I've seen you say that twice. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Okay. We've got 30 minutes left. Let's see. Go back. Okay. All right, we are back on Tickety Talk. Why is that? I don't need that. We are back on TikTok. For those of you, my friends, who want to go back to TikTok, you are more than welcome to, because we are done talking about that now. So you can go back to that if you would like to. I did. Audie, I did. It's like we're in sync. It's like you know me. So go ahead and come back there and start doing all of the good things, please. I would appreciate it. I need to fix my thing here. Bring that back. Bring that back. Thank God. It is a hellhole over there. I'm sorry. Sorry. We're back. Make sure we're doing all of the good things over here on TikTok as we keep going. Oh, I did. Yeah, okay. I'll add those in here as part of my outline, but I don't need to bring them up. Okay, perfect. Yes. What? What? What?
Hear me now?
Oh my God. Kind of. Yeah, but you're loud. What?
I'm a little upset because when it kicked you off, I lost my points for the day.
I lose everything you gift me. So you know what? Yeah, like that sucks too. Okay. Set up new goal. Let's get going again with a new one. Keep it going. 30 minutes left. We'll get to some other things.
Hi.
Hi.
I wanted to correct you. You don't lose anything that you were gifted because your appeal was
Oh, yay!
approved. That's
Good.
the main thing. So, like, you don't get any deductions as soon as your appeal is approved. So you're a boy now, and I don't know where I'm supposed to park. Anyway, sorry, random thing.
No, you're fine.
And also, since you are back online for the last 30 minutes, you'll get your hours, so it counts for you getting entered into a drawing for your hours and days of the month. So,
oh, yeah.
Cool beans. Yeah, I know it's not something I talk about much about the agency stuff, but yay. Anyways, okay, that's all I wanted to share. You get it all back. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We're back, work wife.
Yeah!
We're back. All right, we keep going. So,
Eli, I was quiet.
I'm still waiting for Riot to tell me in my DMs. What do you think that I'm like? What DMs? What DMs did you slide into that you think I have a link to a video? I legitimately, like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Somebody said bootlicker is a slur? That's hilarious, Eli. Damn. All right. So, guys, start tapping that screen, please. I appreciate it. I am so sorry for those of you who had to experience what YouTube is like. It's a really fun place, isn't it? We love that for us. Okay. My God. Let's go to some fun stuff. Let's look at Donald Trump losing his mind, shall we? Excuse me. This was Donald Trump at that Wisconsin event where he is going around touring, trying to convince the American people that the economy is doing well when it's not and it's hurting people. And he seemed to forget the name of the Washington Monument. We love that for him. Yeah.
Between Lincoln, think of Washington, D.C., between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington, just think about this. You know that beautiful spire in honor of the great George Washington and the beautiful Lincoln Memorial. So between there, thousands of feet long. It was built in 1922, and to be honest, it never really worked. It leaked like a sieve.
You know that big spire? You know that thing? The thing? Oh, there's a word for it. Washington Monument. Okay, got it. Oh, if that's not enough for you, here's Donald Trump forgetting the name of another really, really important monument, or as we would say, memorial.
Like the promenade, we've got a promenade at the Lincoln Museum, at Lincoln, and you have to see this. This will be one of the most beautiful things, the Lincoln Memorial.
Oh, he got it. He got it. So,
At the Lincoln, you know, the
at
Lincoln.
the Lincoln. You know the Lincoln.
The Lincoln. Yeah.
The Lincoln. You know what I'm talking
that
about.
man, Lincoln?
Is
Yeah,
unbelievable.
that guy.
It was like the promenade.
He got it. I'm so proud of him. He's doing so well. So proud of him for that. And then this is, you know, just cuz. This is just cuz. I'm so sorry, basketball fans, by the way. I'm so sorry. Okay. You know, I mean, I wouldn't say that's the most important thing, but it's just kind of a temperature gauge on the United States. You know. I love that for him.
I want to know if someone like outside of New Jersey was able to film that and they could hear the boos across. You know,
There was filming in Bryant Park. where people were also watching the game, and there were a shit ton of boos in Bryant Park. But I mean, maybe you could. I heard that you could hear it from Brooklyn, but you know, it's just rumors. W's to Justin for the $2 train. Choo-choo! Thank you, Justin, for the $2 for buy Riot rates, you nasty unwashed ass. So I guess you're done for the day, Riot. Again, I asked you multiple times what the fuck you're talking about in what video, and I don't know what DMs you slipped into, but I guess I'll look later, but I don't see anything, friend. And Donald Trump, since he's, definitely a cognitively aware, he aced his cognitive dementia test 4 times. We're so proud of him for that. About the game and being booed at the game.
Did you see Mayor Mamdani at the game?
I did not, no.
What did you think of the reception you got from the Knicks fans tonight?
I thought it great. I mean, I thought it was amazing, actually. You mean when they had the camera on me? I thought it was very good, yeah. It was certainly amazing. It was. I think mostly cheers. It was loud and it was very enthusiastic.
Mr. Ford, did you see Mayor Mamdani at?
Mostly cheers. Sure. That's what that was. And then this kind of segues into one thing I have on Iran today, but this is Donald Trump, a montage of all the times he has said that we have won. Now, again, we talk about the fact that he keeps claiming that we have won the war in Iran, yet we are still there. So if we won, how come we're still there? And he just keeps saying it.
So we're winning very decisively, and we've won. Let me tell you, we've won. You know, you never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was.
Ooh, and Muse is back. Antifa paid by your Democrats with your stolen tax dollars, extreme groups at its finest. I hope we can get to that. If not, we'll get to it tomorrow. But we can talk about the SPLC and how they're in front of Congress right now. But 2, guys, you're right. You're right. Thank you, Muse, for that. It is the 9th, so we are well into June. And I don't know that a lot of you got your Antifa dues in last month, and George Soros is breathing down my neck. So as an Antifa member, you know that George Soros gets very, very mad if we don't pay our Antifa dues. So to the link tree in my bio, okay, we have Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. It's going to be just Monty Duh on all of those platforms. I would appreciate it if you guys would do that, okay? And I got a visibility restriction.
It's over. Oh, I think we've won. From a military standpoint, they're finished. We've won this. This war has been won. The Iranian regime is now admitting to itself that they have been decisively defeated. They're saying to people, this is a disaster. They're defeated. They can't make a comeback. We are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly. We're going to finish it very fast. We're getting very close. We're the winner. We won, okay? Because we've won, whether you listen to the fake news or not.
Is this war over?
I think it's close to over, yeah. I think we're very close to making a deal with Iran. I think we're going to be finished with that very quickly. Iran is a defeated nation. With the Iran conflict. That'll end soon. Well, we're winning Iran. It's a total win for us. We're almost finished. We're there for a few months, and the threat is largely over. Soon it will be over. It's a military conflict. It's a practice. I have to get back to fighting a war in Iran.
Oh, but I thought we won. Essentially, 2 weeks. Yeah, in a couple weeks. And that is what he said. He did say that on the tarmac. He said 1 to 2 days we should have a deal, which he's been saying. So, of course, the markets rallied today. Crude oil went back down to about 86. The markets are trying to rally because Donald Trump is claiming that things are going to be good. Okay. I have this one little section on Iran I want to get to. Literally just this one video. So, we have a former Trump advisor. Now, this is the same guy. Just so you know. Here we go. Same guy. Hal Lambert. Remember? Do we remember? We just talked about him. We can't talk about him because TikTok doesn't like it, but we were just talking about it. Hal Lambert is now going to talk about Iran. And a former Trump advisor, she worked for Trump in the first administration, her last name is Sunshine, is going to go at him about his points on Iran, and she gets him good. Like, she really gets him good.
He wants to end this the way he wants to end it and not the way Netanyahu wants to end it.
But he did say no new wars. Over and over.
Because remember, Donald Trump in that interview with Kristen Welker said, I never guaranteed no war. We watched an entire montage yesterday where he absolutely did multiple times. Campaign on no new wars.
But he didn't start this one. People say he started it. Look, Iran's been at war with us for a long time, and he did take out Soleimani.
Iran's been at war with us. How many U.S. citizens has Iran killed on U.S. soil in their 47 years?
How many soldiers have they killed?
And why were our soldiers in the Middle East to begin with?
Okay.
How many Americans have they killed on U.S. soil?
So that's allowed? They're allowed to kill.
So Lambert says he didn't start this war. He did. But we've been fighting with them for 47 years. So she asks, how many U.S. citizens on U.S. soil have been killed by Iran? And he says, well, no, not that. They have killed our troops in the Middle East. And she asks a question that I ask you. Why are we in the Middle East? Remember, you guys were the ones who says you didn't want to be the world police. So why were we there? Why were we in any proximity for them to be able to kill our troops? Why were we there?
How many soldiers have they killed?
And why were our soldiers in the Middle East to begin with?
Okay.
How many Americans have they killed on U.S.
So that's
soil?
allowed? They're allowed?
That's as loud as I can get the video, Mary. I apologize.
You haven't answered that. Hold on. No. How many, for the people who chant death to America for 47 years, how many U.S. citizens have they killed on U.S. soil?
Okay.
How many on U.S. soil, Hal?
So that's all
it's
that
an easy
counts?
answer. You
They
should
can
know it.
kill
Or is it like
Americans all
Ted
over the
Cruz where you don't
world?
know the population of Iran?
Wow.
How many U.S. citizens have they
Okay.
killed on U.S. soil?
You know, I don't know the answer to that. I would guess it's low.
0.
But I don't think that's the telltale test. I don't think you have to kill us on our soil. If you're killing us overseas, you're killing.
Why are we
you're killing
overseas
US
to begin
citizens.
with?
Are we really
Why
going
are
to go
our
into
soldiers in
global
the Middle East
politics
to
on
begin
why
with?
we're overseas? I don't think we have.
We're talking about Iraq.
Yes. Yes. Let's talk about Operation Ajax. Let's talk about why we are over there. Let's talk about the coup that we funded over in Iran. Yes. Let's talk about global politics. Yeah.
We're overseas because
Why were they in the
you wanna
Middle
know why?
East to
Because
begin
of
with?
oil.
And point to
Because
one
of oil.
Middle
Let's
Eastern
just.
country.
Yay! A truth. We're playing 300 truths or 300 lies and one truth. Oh my God, thank you, Peter. I appreciate that so much. Oh my God, I have crabs. So, he is honest. Why are we in the Middle East? Why are our troops in the Middle East? To protect our vested interest in oil. Thank you, Lambert, for admitting that.
Why? Because of oil.
And point to
Because
one
of oil.
Middle
Let's
Eastern
just.
country we've
Because
made
of
better by our
oil.
involvement
Because
over
of
there.
oil. We know why we're there. It's because of oil.
What do you mean because of oil?
We need to protect our interests in oil. Period. We
Then
know
maybe
it.
we should open the Strait of Hormuz, which was
Oh, so it's capitalism. Okay, so then maybe we shouldn't have attacked them so that they could close the strait, affecting the global oil market, right?
open before this war started, and we could open right now if we just left, which is in our
Wow.
interest.
So you're okay.
I
You're
think
for
Israel
Iran having a
has
nuclear
shown
weapon.
a
Got it.
remarkable. Oh, Iran doesn't need a nuclear weapon now because they have learned that they don't need one. They've now
I-
learned through this war. By the way, Iran, a nuclear weapon. Let me just dismantle that talking point really quick. The 18 U.S. intelligence agencies
back
in
to
our
those.
country.
We're back to those.
Back to those.
Well, that's what
What is
told us
that supposed to
well,
mean?
because
Back
that told
to
us
those.
that Saddam
Whose
Hussein
intel
had
do you
massive
trust?
weapons of mass destruction.
A lie?
Well, they were the 18 intelligence agencies you're about to quote. Go ahead.
No, that was Israel intelligence. That's not true.
That is,
Okay.
it wasn't the intel agencies, it was the politicians. No, let me be clear.
What were you going
It
to say
wasn't
about
the
the
intel,
intelligence
it wasn't the
agencies?
intel agencies that lied about.
You see how this man has no facts but a lot of fear mongering? Conservatives and Republicans are scared of everything, and they're scared of everything without evidence.
That it was the politicians like your old friend Ted Cruz that believed those lies and got us into those wars, and it was President Trump who campaigned on being different, and that's a separate thing I'm going to get into. But the 18 U.S. intelligence agencies concluded that Iran was not building a nuclear weapon, and that has not changed during the course of this war. However, what has changed is that Iran has now learned they don't need a nuclear weapon because they can behave like a nuclear power without ever needing to be one, because they can just close the Strait of Hormuz if and when they ever want. And they have learned what China has learned, which is that you're never going to beat the U.S. military militarily. You beat us economically.
Congratulations. Thank you, Donald Trump, for teaching them that they don't need to do it militarily. They can do it economically, and that is what he has taught them. Joseph, you said all these anti-Americans standing up for Iran. I'm not standing up for Iran. I just don't agree with double tapping a school full of Iranian school children. I don't agree with wiping out bridges that civilians use. I just don't agree with killing innocent people for no reason. What are we getting out of this? What are we getting out of this?
Is it truly free market capitalism if you need military intervention for your
Probably not.
to protect your interests?
No, probably not.
They're also capitalist.
So capitalist, but they need the help. It's interesting. Who did that? Did he do that himself? Because I didn't do that. No, it doesn't look like anybody else did that. I didn't do it. But again, no facts from Lambert. Just a lot of feelings. Just a lot of feelings to fearmonger something you can't prove. So, guys, I know that I had to do that. I waited to start, but let's keep tapping for me, okay? I know we're not going to hit 100,000. That's totally fine. I'm not expecting that of you. But let's keep tapping and doing the good things. I do appreciate you guys being here so much today. Thank you guys also for transferring over with me to the other apps. This is exactly why many content creators have moved away from this fuck-ass app. TikTok, we love you. But like, what the fuck? And so that's why I'm slowly trying to move. We will be here for as long as we can be here, but just don't forget to follow me on YouTube and on Twitch. If you are watching on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button for me if you have not already. I appreciate it. Don't forget you can become a member. You can send super chats if the chat's moving too fast and I don't catch your chat that you really want me to read. You can send that. If you're over there on Twitch, you can subscribe. If you subscribe to Prime, you get a free Prime sub once a month to any creator of your choice. Why not choose me? I would appreciate it so much. So just remember to follow me or subscribe on YouTube and Twitch so that you guys have that. Do not forget to go to my Discord and become a part of my Discord. Again, that is in the link tree in my bio. If you have to copy and paste it into another browser, that's usually what you have to do. There is some verification that me and my mods do. Justin, you do a wonderful job with that. Thank you. To get you in there. We do have a probationary role that nobody has currently, but we do have a probationary role in case you are not a lefty, but you would like to be a part, but you are not allowed to be harmful. If you are harmful, you do not get the probation role. If you are open to criticism and conversation, you are allowed to have the probationary role in the Discord. But the Discord is where I announce in case something happens on TikTok that I am on YouTube and Twitch. That's where you get the notifications about me going live. So I would just advise you in case fuck shit happens with this app to be on the other platforms where I am, okay? I would appreciate that. All right. Moving to a couple things on the economy. This is back to little Keebler elf Mike Johnson talking about the Republican plan to go after and cut and defund Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security.
We've been doing all that, and then we're going to lead up to what we have to do and address the largest spending items. The reason we're in trouble is because over 74% of federal spending is on autopilot, mandatory spending. That's your entitlement programs like Medicare, Medicaid, and then things like Social Security. They have to be adjusted and fixed. We have a plan to do that next year, and it's critical because we're at $40 trillion plus. We've been doing.
Now, what does that mean? We have a plan to fix it. We're still going. If the program exists, it is going to be our most spent program, Medicare and Medicaid. So how do you fix that? You cut it. You defund it. We've told you over and over again, they are trying to privatize these things, specifically Social Security, and take it away from you. And you said, no, no, no. Mike Johnson just said it to your face. That's what they plan to do. That's what they plan to do. Thank you, Zoe. I appreciate that. Let's go to Peter Navarro, to talk about what he believes Americans should feel about tariffs. That thing that you guys don't understand to this day, which is interesting.
Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, Peter, is estimating that these new tariff actions are going to bring in an additional $1 trillion in revenue through fiscal year 2036. Does that sound right to you?
It's probably low.
Yeah, that's low. Okay.
I mean, the bottom line is, if you go back to Alexander Hamilton, Abe Lincoln, Henry Clay, William McKinley, this country used to run on tariff revenues. And those tariff
Yeah, we're a long way from that. There's a reason we don't do that anymore.
Revenues can go a long way to bringing our budget back in balance. Yeah. We're burning money right now on paying for the debt, and it's eating into the things we got to do.
Yeah, like defense spending.
Every American should love tariffs.
Yeah.
Every American should love tariffs. Why? Why? So let's talk about the fact that you guys really don't understand tariffs. Again, here is Jameson Greer about Canada's retaliatory tariffs, which again just further proves that either Jameson Greer doesn't know the same way that you guys don't know, or he's lying to you about them.
or Vietnam. So we're trying to change those rules, we call them rules of origin, to make sure that people aren't using Mexico as a third country hub. We would expect the same for Canada when we are able to get to some kind of an arrangement with them. You know, right now they have a different approach to the United States. They have some retaliatory tariffs still in effect, and that makes it a problem for us to negotiate.
Well,
MAGA. Conservatives. What is a tariff? What is it? Yeah, the Dow. Which obviously this was over the weekend, or else it wouldn't be futures, but it was Dow futures. I haven't looked today. I looked at oil, but that rallied.
I didn't look at anything.
That rallied because of Trump's words last night. Let's see. The Dow is negative 0.16, S&P negative 0.86, NASDAQ negative 1.68. Woo! Stocks plunge as tech-led sell-off resumes. Oh, and you know what? I know why too, because the helicopter. That's going to start raising prices again too, because Donald Trump said we need to retaliate against it. So that's gonna. Stocks plunges, tech-led sell-off. That bubble's gonna burst any fucking minute now. But again, I ask you, MAGA, did you answer me? Did any of you answer me? What is a tariff? No? Nobody answered. Nope. No. Mark Thomas, don't look. All right, I'll describe it to you since you genuinely don't know. A tariff is a tax on an imported good, meaning that if Canada has retaliatory tariffs on the U.S., that just means that Canadian companies that choose to import U.S. goods, but specific ones because theirs aren't blanketed, but very specific U.S. goods, the import company in Canada pays for that. Okay. And the one that they like to talk about the most is actually going to be dairy, which in the same way that we did a targeted tariff under the Chips and Science Act about microchips from Taiwan, in the same way we did with EV vehicles from China, they did a targeted tariff on, it's terrific, they did a targeted tariff on dairy because they have a dairy industry that they would like to not see fall apart, so they don't want to buy from our dairy industry. Now, they still can, and they still do. They just have a threshold. They are allowed to tariff-free import dairy from the United States until they hit a certain amount. Once they hit that certain amount and go above it, they then have to pay a tariff. It's not been instituted or used by these companies in Canada, but again, they are the ones who pay it. So, again, this misunderstanding about what tariffs are. Because all you guys want to do is glaze Trump. I don't understand. Okay. I wanted to get to this section, the fact that Bill Pulte is being nominated as not nominated, he's been appointed as the acting DNI, the acting Director of National Intelligence. Bill Pulte, who will still be in charge of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, in charge of housing, which is very, very interesting because I don't know how he's going to juggle both of those. He has no intelligence experience. Absolutely none. So this is, why did I write think? That is definitely Thune. Thune is asked, Senate Majority Leader Thune is asked about the fact that Bill Pulte is being appointed as acting DNI. Thune defers to Chairman Cotton because Tom Cotton, another Republican, is the chairman for the Board of Intelligence in Congress. And Cotton doesn't seem to have anything to say about the fact that Bill Pulte is being appointed to DNI.
Do you think that Bill Pulte has the experience to be...
It's not. What is a CNN talking point about the fact that Bill Pulte has no intelligence experience? Can you give me Jay Dizzle the intelligence experience that Pulte has?
The acting DNI, and same with you, Senator Cotton, as the chairman of the Intelligence Committee. Is he the kind of person you want leading the Intelligence Committee?
I'll defer to the chairman on that. We were just made aware of that appointment this morning. Obviously, it's something that if the administration decides to pursue a permanent appointment to that position, have to come through the Congress and have confirmation hearings and ultimately a vote here in the Senate. But Senator Cotton, you want to speak to that?
We have 4 more weeks with Director Gabbard as the DNI, and I look forward to implementing last year's Intelligence Authorization Act with her.
Okay, but that's not the question. You have 4 more weeks with her, but then she will be gone. And Bill Pulte will be the acting DNI. Do you have any reservations about his lack of intelligence experience?
To implement wide-ranging reforms that will shrink the DNI and take it back to its original intent to provide a mere coordinator or process role for the intelligence community.
And Pulte's
I have no observations on the matter.
Leader Thune.
They said Pulte? What about Pulte? I have no observations on the matter. You are the chairman of the Intelligence Committee in Congress. You have no observations about the fact that they are appointing Bill Pulte as the acting DNI? None? Now, I don't have this video in this section because we played it last week. And that was where Donald Trump was asked in the Oval Office about that appointment of acting DNI director to Bill Pulte. And he said, I think he'll have some insight on elections. And that's why. That's why. Because remember, Tulsi Gabbard was in Georgia, in Fulton County. We don't know why. When they repossessed or had a subpoena to repossess the ballots for the election. Right? Donald Trump just openly said it. I think he'll have some thoughts on that. Why is he getting involved in that? I don't know. Here is Mike Johnson being asked about that appointment. And again, about Bill Pulte having intelligence experience. Hi, Ken.
Mr. Johnson, do you think that Bill Pulte is qualified to be the acting director?
RJ, wild pivot, by the way. We're not even talking about immigration, but if you would like to, that's fine. You're saying, how come people didn't complain when Obama was deporting people with ICE? ICE wasn't a problem then. ICE wasn't roaming our cities in masks and assaulting and killing people. That wasn't happening. Also, it's one of my favorites. Oh no! April 5th, 2014. April 5th, 2014. Immigration advocates rally to curb deportations. A march and rally to the White House was one of several events held in different parts of the country to demand that Obama curb immigrations. Mr. President, stop deportations. Hashtag not one more. Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs. Okay. Be smarter, please. All right, Mike Johnson in the Bill Pulte appointment.
Johnson, do you think that Bill Pulte is qualified to be the acting director?
ICE wasn't wearing masks, so no, they weren't being forced to wear masks because ICE wasn't wearing masks under Obama's administration.
National intelligence, and do you think you can still pass a bipartisan FISA deal given some of the Democratic pushback to that?
So here's the thing. The president obviously has the prerogative and the choice on who he appoints to these positions, and this would be an interim appointment. What I would tell you about, I'm glad you brought up FISA, because I think what's absolutely outrageous about this whole thing is that Democrats in the Senate, and I guess in the House as well, are now suggesting that they would allow FISA, they would withhold their votes on FISA's reauthorization, which expires next week.
Now, if you don't know what they're talking about, what they're talking about is FISA 702. It's a very specific provision that allows the government to spy on people that they suspect of having relations with foreign agents. The problem with that is that it allows them to spy on American citizens. Now, I thought conservatives were the party of small government and no big brother. But apparently the Republicans are the ones who want to extend this. Now, listen, that is not to say that it was not expanded under other administrations. Obama's administration expanded FISA. Trump's first term, Biden's term expanded FISA. They did. All administrations have expanded FISA, which is basically what replaced the Patriot Act after 9/11. And after the Patriot Act expired, we got FISA. And it allowed them to monitor us. And the difference now is that the Congress, the Democrats in Congress, do not want to vote for this. There's actually a lot of Republicans who also don't want to vote for this because they're real Republicans, not the rhinos that are MAGA. Okay? But I just want to let you know, in case you don't know what that is, I advise you, write it down. FISA 702 provision. That is what they're talking about. If you have not read it, read it. It is terrifying. That should not be expanded or approved or pushed forward in any way. Mike Johnson is saying we need the votes for that, which is interesting. But
which expires next week. The statute will expire, as you know. They withhold their votes because of an interim appointment that is the president's choice to do. That is absolutely outrageous. Every one of you should be following them around with microphones and challenging them on that, because FISA Section 702 is responsible for approximately two-thirds of the President of the United States' daily national security briefing comes from the collection of intelligence through this statute. We enacted it in Congress after 9/11. The reason we haven't had another 9/11 on our shores is because we have this critically important national security tool. It is
because we are spying on the American people. Okay, that's why.
The most important intelligence tool that we have. The idea that they would try to play politics right now because they don't like the president's choice of an appointment is absolutely stunning to me. But it shows to you one more time, as we say here weekly, this is not your father's Democrat Party. These are not reasonable leaders over here, okay?
They are. Why is Bill Pulte being appointed? He has no intelligence experience. That's the question, Mike. Focus up.
They will use pain for the American people for political purposes. And this is the latest example of it. I think it's absolutely
not pain.
outrageous.
I don't want you surveilling the American people. That's not pain for me. I don't have any issue with that.
A lot of Republicans get upset about the Patriot Act, right?
Yeah, which expired.
Now they want to reinstate a form of the Patriot. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, because the expansion was going to include U.S. citizens in it, in the expansion of the FISA section that they are looking at. But, sure. So, again with Bill Pulte, we're going to ask Rubio, the Secretary of State, when he was in front of the representatives in Congress, Representative Keating talks to him about all of his intelligence experience, not only being Secretary of State, but also being in Congress and being on these committees. Do you have any observations about Bill Pulte being appointed without any intelligence experience?
Ranking member. Without objection. Secretary, thank you for being here. In conjunction with your job, you're also the National Security Advisor with access to the most sensitive intelligence secrets our countries and other countries have in the world. But before this, you had these two positions. You had a distinguished career as a member and a chair for 5 years of the Senate Intelligence Committee up to last year. And you and Senator Warner are some of the most respected and knowledgeable people at that time and voices in the entire intelligence community, earning the trust of Democrats and Republicans alike, Senator and House members, and other countries. So with all your Intelligence Committee experience, and now as Secretary of State and National Security Advisor, and all those years of experience, have you ever, specifically in the context of the intelligence community, heard the name Bill Pulte?
In the context of intelligence?
That's what I said.
No, I have
never heard his name. Okay, thank you for answering that.
Well,
never. Ranking member.
No, because why would they talk about him? He's not in intelligence. Like that would, if you are asking for advice on an appointment, I think you would ask the intelligence agency itself and the people at the top. You have Ratcliffe. I doubt Bill Pulte's name would have come up. But again, Donald Trump said he knows a thing or two about elections. That's what Donald Trump said. So then this is just kind of for funsies. If we don't remember, let's go back a year ago. Scott Bessent is the Secretary of the Treasury. Okay? I don't know if you guys remember this because a lot has gone on in a year. Scott Bessent got into an altercation with a different member of the cabinet last year in Donald Trump's cabinet. Supposedly, they literally physically pushed on each other and were this close to actually fighting, having punches being thrown. So, Senator Thom Tillis asks Bessent about this because that person, no, it actually wasn't, that person that he got into an altercation with was Bill Pulte.
Did you actually tell Pulte you were going to punch him in the face?
No, sir. I actually said I was going to kick his ass.
Good. Okay.
Oh! We love a cabinet that can work together. Mm-hmm.
tell Pulte you were going to punch him in the face?
No, sir. I actually said I was going to kick his ass.
Good. Okay. Good. I share the emotion. Thank you.
And as I said, that was last summer, summer 25, and many teams have fights in the locker room and then go out and win for the team on the field.
Yeah. No, I was just curious because everybody's going to be showing that. I made it clear I'm not going to support Pulte for DNI, but I'm sure they're going to dredge that up. So I thought I'd give you an opportunity to.
I had a very good exchange with the director yesterday. Want to keep the momentum going on the FHA.
Yeah, well, he lost me when he. Did you actually?
I don't know why they lost Tillis. They lost Tillis because they lost Tillis. Tillis didn't really grow a real backbone, but he pretends that he grew one. But yeah, you know, I totally you get to keep your job when you get into fights with people. Yeah, that totally happens. Yeah.
You want free Rockies tickets for tonight?
How many?
4. It's 6:30.
Okay, that's 6:30. What's today? Today is Tuesday. Okay. They don't do paid parking because they usually do the Argus.
We can always take the train too. The kids would like the
we
train.
could take the train, but then what time will we need to leave? Well, you could be late to a baseball game. It doesn't matter. And it's the Rockies, so who cares? Who are we playing?
Cubs, I think. So fuck Chicago.
Okay. I did make my goal today, so it's not like I couldn't get the kids popcorn or something.
Links in bio if you want to pay for our train tickets.
I mean, Tanner, shut up. Tanner said Rockies will win the World Series if you don't shut the fuck up.
If you don't stop lying.
I hate you for that.
The first No Kings we went to here in Denver, someone had a sign that says Trump loses more than the Rockies.
That was a great sign.
Which says a lot.
We're self-aware fans. It's fine. But
are you from Chicago, Lakin?
Our stadium is the coolest though, because we found a Triceratops skull there. So
Links in bio to Permaban Lakin.
that's crazy. I cannot with you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
God damn it!
Oh.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
To be fair, I kicked him. He didn't leave, so it still counts. Oh, that's funny. It's the Rockies' tough decision. Yeah, but listen, I'm a very self-aware Rockies fan. I'm very self-aware. Our stadium's really fucking cool. It's probably one of the coolest bars in Denver, and that's why they don't do anything to invest money in the team, because people still go. The tickets are cheap. The food is great. You have access to spirits. It's why they don't invest in it. But there is rumor, not that I like the Walton family or the Walmart Corporation, but there is rumor that the Waltons are talking about purchasing the Rockies after they've already purchased the Broncos. So, I mean, we'll see. But, why not? The kids would like to go see it. So, yeah. No, I know the bar is the reason they go. I'm very, very aware, which is why, again, they don't invest money into the actual fucking team. The owners of the Rockies do not give a fuck about how good or bad the team is because people still show up. Aw, McGriddle, we were talking about baseball. Why? Okay. Did I have anything funny today? I don't think I had. Let me check my TikTok. I don't think so, but if not, we'll just play Dragon's Celts things today. Now TikTok don't want to load. Tickety-tock. I don't think so. No, I just really fucking. Oh, I did have this one. I'll play that one.
He's a sucky person. He's a sucky person. Lauren. I hate Spencer. I'm never gonna like Spencer. He did a really messed up thing. He's a sucky person. He's a sucky person. Lauren. I hate Spencer. I'm never gonna like Spencer. He did a really messed up thing. He's a
Lauren Conrad was right. LC was always right. If you were not on Team LC, I don't know what you were doing. Okay. Let's do this. This was in Olives, though. go here. I'm going to play, where was it? I'm going to play the first one. I liked the first one. So we're going to play the first one.
My face is squishy. My face is I call you mommy. I got the lube. I got the lube. I got the lube. I call you mommy. I got the lube. I got the lube. I got the lube. I like the finger the most.
Alright, maybe now I can play Rubio. Oh, look another. 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 Oh, look another.
I got the lube.
I am poor.
I call you mommy.
Oh, look another sheep. Ba ba, bitch. Oh, look another sheep. Ba ba, bitch.
Yes! Oh my god, I love it so much. Dragon's Kelp, like you really blew it out of the water. You know what? So much so that I added it. I cleaned up my Stream Deck. So I have a Monty Isms folder that leads to the most used sounds that I have. And so, you know, I have all of our good ones that we like.
I just want to believe the things that I say. Why don't you just let me believe the things that I say?
All of our lovely ones, but Dragon's Kelp, I put it on here as my lovely little song as well. Don't, Eli, don't, Eli, don't clip that. Don't, Eli, don't, Eli, don't, Eli, Eli, don't, Eli, don't, Eli, don't, Eli, don't, Eli, don't, Eli. Oh my god, I have crabs. Don't, Eli, y'all just got hard. 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 Eli, don't, Eli, don't, Eli, don't, Eli. Oh my god, I have crabs. Eli, y'all just got hard. Eli, y'all just got hard. Eli, y'all just got hard. Eli, I just got hard.
Now, Dragon's Kelp to combine ours together and just like make like a mosh pit mix of
It's
all of our
crazy.
audio together.
See a piece? No. Okay. All right. So YouTube and Twitchy. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for going over to YouTube and Twitch when TikTok fell apart, and so I appreciate it a lot. I hope you guys all hit your thumbs up while you were over there. I appreciate it. Make sure that you come back. We will be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, whatever time that is for you. Happy Pride Month, Tech Riven. Yeah, and we will come back with some more stuff. Again, still haven't gotten to Epstein. We still have some Rubio stuff, Brooke Rollins. I have an entire section on immigrations. I might start with that tomorrow. If we can get there, that would be great. Hopefully I can get more from the SPLC CEO being in front of Congress today. I'm going to get those clips after I get off of here. So yeah, that will be awesome. So YouTube and Twitch specifically, I love you all so very much, even if you hate watch. And I will see you tomorrow, 10 a.m.